Hello, loves. It's Britt, astrologer, healer, and spiritual coach. And in this video, I'm excited to talk about Jupiter conjunct the North Node in the Synastry chart. So, when someone's Jupiter is conjunct partners, North Node, vice versa. This is a beautiful contact where I truly feel and have experienced the best qualities of both people coming out here. And it's interchangeable, really. I mean, I could say things for the Jupiter person and I could say things for the North Node person, and I will, but I truly believe and have felt and experienced this one being mutually positive for both people, in a big way, actually, because Jupiter is the biggest planet and it does have a big influence in synastry, and it's some of my favorite synastry to see, and it is strongly felt as well, by both people. So what I found with this one in the synastry is that the Jupiter person, by just being their lighthearted, joyful, expansive self, really helps the North Node person on their soul path. So the North Node representing where the soul is going in this lifetime, the fated experiences and qualities that they are developing in order to further grow as a soul. And the Jupiter person can really pull them and propel them in a powerful way to where that is. And that's going to be shown by the sign and house placement of that North Node. So the Jupiter person can kind of act as a mentor and a guide in that realm to the North Node person. And the North Node person is very, very appreciative of the Jupiter person's influence. And the Jupiter person is seen by the North Node person as someone who is very generous with their time, with their energy, with their wisdom. They just really look at the Jupiter person like, wow, this is a good person. This is, someone who is really helpful to me, is really generous to me. And I mean, it depends on the quality of the sign too. So like my North Node is in Scorpio. Okay. So when someone's Jupiter in Scorpio is on my North Node, it's not so much like they're so generous. Like, you're not going to see a Jupiter in Scorpio person be like super generous with money. Although there's, the odd case that maybe that's what it is. But with that, I found that these people were very emotionally generous to me. They were very deeply bonded with me and very able to help me embody more of those North Node and Scorpio qualities, which is about depth and intensity and passion. And yeah, depending if it's a sexual relationship, lots of sexual passion and allowing me to really express that quality of my North Node. I had another relationship where it was more, I was the student when I was the North Node in Scorpio, and then the Jupiter person was like teaching me, and he was really generous in the way that he taught me the guitar, actually. And it really, like, I developed a deeper love for the guitar, and it's a very, we're not close now, but like I feel like we still both have very strong positive feelings to each other. And there's other things going on in the synastry too, but so that's one way that I've experienced it. And now I'm actually experiencing it now on the other end, where it's my Jupiter onto someone's North Node, and I just feel like, they bring out so many, my Jupiter's in Sagittarius, so many generous qualities. I feel very generous with this person, very, wanting to build them up, okay? And that's something that can be seen with this as well, is that the Jupiter person takes on like a fatherly role, but it's not a fatherly role like Saturn, where you're like the critical, like hard-handed, like, serious, like, get your shit together to the node person. It's not like that, okay? That's like Saturn, North Node. Although it can be loving as well, but like Saturn is more that kind of energy, right? Serious. The Jupiter father energy that comes out is like the fun dad, the generous, jovial, wise mentor, father figure. Like, the most positive image of father can really come out, like the teacher, right? So like the father that's, teaching the son how to play sports, and, maybe the son is fumbling a bit with their north node and they're, not so good, but the Jupiter person is never critical and just always building them up and seeing them in their highest and seeing them in their potential, and, just being the true, noble, kind, benevolent fathering energy towards the north node person, where, that's okay if you missed the ball that time, I know you've got this, like you have the potential. So the Jupiter person is really good at seeing the north node person's potential. And it's not a potential in the sense of like a Neptune relationship where you're seeing someone's potential that's actually maybe not there, right? It's a dream. This is like the Jupiter person actually sees the north node person's real potential and what they're really meant to be in this lifetime. And the Jupiter person is so generous that they will help them be that. They don't care what it costs. They don't care the time. They don't care. Like, it just really, the north node person really activates like a level in the Jupiter person that when their Jupiter is not activated in this way in other charts, they're not like that with other people. They're not. They're just like, other people can just figure it out themselves, get the heck out of here, but when it's the north node person, the Jupiter person is like, of course, take my wallet, right? Not literally, but depending on the quality of the Jupiter sign, right? So that's something interesting to notice with this, is the level of generosity of the Jupiter person. It might even shock them at times, and other people around them might see, wow, Jupiter, you really give a lot to that north node person. Like, do they really deserve that? Like, and the Jupiter person is like almost shocked, like, of course they do. Like, no, it's nothing. Because it feels like absolutely nothing for the Jupiter person to give to the north node person. It's just like the most natural thing in the world. It's just like breathing. So the Jupiter person doesn't even feel that they're being overly generous with the north node person, because it's just like breathing. They gain so much from giving to the north node person that it's not a big deal. It's not like overgiving. It's just because when you're in your Jupiter energy, at least for me with Jupiter and Sagittarius, and Jupiter and Sagittarius can kind of build on itself and be this overabundant, like overly generous, too much Jupiter energy, because when we have Jupiter in its ruling sign, it can go a little bit off the chain. So maybe that's why my description of this is so much like this. But even when I've had it on the other end with people's Jupiter and Scorpio on my north node, it's still like this, okay? It's just a little bit different, but it's very similar. So the thing with Jupiter is when we are being that sign in its fullness, we are actually lucky and we draw good fortune to us. So I think on a soul level, the Jupiter person realizes that anything they give to the north node person can be given wholeheartedly and without any thought of ever receiving that back, because that's sort of the law of Jupiter, is when we give of ourself and our giftedness, of our natural talents of the Jupiter sign, that is when we attract all of the abundance and all of the good of the universe back to us, okay? It's not when we're thinking about, okay, what am I going to get out of this, right? Like that, that attitude shuts the valve, and the good that is inherent in our birth chart and in our whatever is meant for us doesn't come in like that. But when we tap into our Jupiter and we actually share of our Jupiter freely, that is when it all comes back to us. So I think on a soul level with this aspect, the Jupiter person knows that, the north node person knows that as well, and they're both very generous with each other. So this can go interchangeably. Like the north node person can end up being really generous with the Jupiter person too, and the north node person is like so grateful for the Jupiter person. And even if, the relationship doesn't last, or it ends up, breaking up, or whatever kind of relationship it is, right? the North Node person, the Jupiter person, they have fond feelings for each other, and it's definitely a soulmate bond where, it doesn't necessarily have to be a love relationship. It could obviously help one a lot because there's so much benevolence and positive energy, but it actually seems to be more like a mentor-student relationship in a lot of cases, right? And at least what I've experienced. So, but it can be good for all types of relationships. It can be really good, and I really like it. And the only thing, to be aware of is just that, this person activates you to a whole other level than other people. And maybe you are being overly generous, and, look into that. If there's other aspects going on with Neptune or something, maybe be aware that maybe this person is bringing up this big, jovial, big-hearted side of you that, maybe you need to look into that if there's Neptune too. Like, okay, is it actually good for me to be this giving? But usually with this one, it is, because like I said about the law of Jupiter, when you give, it comes back. And so usually this relationship will be one of the relationships that you can look back on, and there will be positive feelings. There will be growth that has happened for both people because both people are being helped grow. Jupiter's expansion, the North Node is where the soul is going. They're both being very helped by this, okay? So you'll look back on it, you'll be grateful for it, and you'll be glad to have had it. And if it lasts forever, the positive feelings are just so strong it could, right? Depending on what else is going on there. But it's definitely a really good one to have. I really like it. I'd love to know your experiences below. Let me know how it's been for you. And I also offer one-on-one sessions. I do Synastry charts, so I do the relationship charts of couples or all types of relationships. I do. I love it. It's my favorite thing to do. So I offer those, and then I also offer one-on-one soul purpose birth chart readings as well. So just looking into your own chart, seeing what your unique soul purpose is, your gifts, your challenges, all of that. All my sessions come with a Zoom recording. It's a Zoom audio. And then also just my written notes. I give you guys my written notes as well. So you have something to read, something to listen to forever. That's at the link below. And then I also offer other things too. You can see at the link below. Okay, thanks so much for watching, you guys. Love you. And we'll talk soon. Bye.